This is not financial nor professional advice. This video is for entertainment only. Hey everyone, the market's in retreat, and I guess I am too, to some extent. I'm not trading nearly as often, and I'm just finding a few good names here and there, which I will bring to you. I'm going to tell you why I think the economic outlook is so clouded, and the different factors and how I think that's going to pan out, and what moves I'm making in light of that. The big question has been inflation, and we're getting such contradictory signs on that. I mean, I've even seen videos on YouTube talk about there being negative interest rates in the short term and increased long-term interest rates, which is totally contradictory. So we're in that kind of upside down world where we got to figure out which factors are most important. I think probably the most important factor is interest rates. And the Federal Reserve, I think, is making moves towards like they're going to raise interest rates. And I think they're doing this partly for political reasons, to reassure Congress that they're not going to let inflation get out of control, so as to calm Congress down about passing the infrastructure bill. I think that's why that's being done, and I think it might be more staged than actual follow-through. The 10-year bond is probably the best indicator, and in spite of all this talk about inflation, that 10-year bond rate has actually gone lower. The bond holders, they tend to think we're headed towards a recession, and they tend to be right, and they tend to be a little bit too early. In the 2008 crash, I will call it, the Great Recession as we called it, they start forecasting lower rates in 2007. So they're always kind of the canary in the coal mine. And I think that's the one that we're ultimately going to follow. Now, rates, the 30-year rates are increasing. And that makes sense because it's likely that things are going to get better eventually. And this flu is going to be taken care of. But you know, the flu is both a curse and a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise. Would you like to receive a blessing for once that was not in disguise? But that's what it is. On the one hand, I think if this flu thing completely went away, I think the economy would open up so rip-roaringly high that they would have to put extreme interest rate increases, and I think the stock market would go down severely, if not crash. And it probably would be a flash crash to some degree. And I think we've gotten so sensitized to even thinking about interest rate increases that even these tiny increases they're thinking of could induce a flash crash. But my prediction is they're going to do the taper. I think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to raise interest rates ultimately because I think we're going to have a recession. I don't expect it to be a deep recession. I expect it to be a reaction. You know, you get these contradictory things. I don't think inflation is that much of a problem, at least not yet. And there's signs that it's easing off. The delay in goods being delivered, that's being addressed. And also oil prices are going down. And Biden has taken a number of moves, increased the strategic oil release to lower the price somewhat. But I think as electric cars get more and more taken in, I think the price of oil, there's a big deflationary effect from that. and I think our environment improves at the same time. So we that is a blessing that's not in disguise. That's out in the open, and it's there for all of us to enjoy. And thank you, Tesla and Elon Musk. I I think Tesla is probably going to stabilize around this point, just because it has there's such positive and negative things happening all at the same time. I think Musk sold his shares in Tesla partly because he could see it was the top of the market. Okay, he needed the money for tax purposes, but I think he could see that he was at a plateau. And then Tesla tends to do this. It reaches the plateau and stays there for a while. It maybe goes down a little bit, but then it ultimately takes off again. I don't think we're going to see a takeoff on Tesla until the summer. That's my guess anyway. At least 4 or 5 months. It should take off before then, but again, it's not Tesla's fault. It's going to be the economy's fault, and it's going to be because we've gotten a recession. I don't think it's going to be a deep one. I think it'll be over in 6 to 8 months. But I think we're going to experience this. And I think even if they raise the interest rates a little bit, I think the housing market's going to crash. And that's something that's actually well needed. There's many people that need to buy a house that cannot buy a house because the prices are just off the Richter scale. And that's what I'm finding with the stock market. I like to trade stocks. I like to buy a lot of stocks. I'm not buying a lot of stocks. I'm selling some stocks and buying a few very selected stocks. And I just think it's such a mixed bag. I think the best thing to rely on to try to predict out what's going to happen a year from now is the 10-year bond. What happens in the interim is kind of a crapshoot. I think that crapshoot continues until January. I don't see how it's possible to trade this market much, except in a few selected cases. By Christmas, before Christmas, I'm not doing much trading. Right now, I'm buying a lot of Pfizer and Biontech. Biontech works with Pfizer. Pfizer is going to change its medication and make it better, so that it addresses all forms of this flu. I think it's kind of a safe and stable thing to do while I'm waiting for the market to turn. It could turn higher after Christmas. I'd be shocked if it does turn higher before Christmas. I think too much is baked in the pie right now, and I think we're getting a lot of political stage playing to act like, hey, we're going to raise interest rates. It's okay to pass these infrastructure bills because we're going to handle the interest rate and inflation and make it so it's not a problem. So you need not worry about it. Just go ahead and pass these infrastructure bills. And I think there's been a lot of political pressure applied to make that happen. But I think once things truly slow down, and part of that is because of inventory has been growing so much. They've been stockpiling their inventory in a lot of cases. And I think a lot of people have been waiting to buy. They're literally waiting for prices to go down. So the cure for the recession is to have somewhat of a recession and somewhat of a market a crash, or at least pullback, and a housing crash and pullback to some extent. It's already happening with crypto. So I think we need a major value reset and a touch of reality and a belief that interest rates aren't that big of a deal, but the stock market believes it's a big deal, and so it will be a big deal. That's my thoughts. I'm buying Pfizer and Biontech, and I'm waiting until January to dive in deep. But if I get any hot ideas, I'll be sure to relay them to you. Till then, I'll mostly try to entertain you with technology that's interesting. That's all for now. Thanks a lot. Be sure to like and subscribe if you found this to be of useful to you, and be sure to check in with me in the future for interesting ideas on technology and growth stocks at the moment, as I am a very active trader. Thanks a lot. I will see you in the future.